All right. As far as the injuries go, we had Jake Bringenstool still out, Marquise Brown out, Deion Bush is out, Kristen Fulton's out, Sky Moore was out. And then Tranquil hurt his back, so he just strained his back a little bit, and it was really almost a non-contact thing. So we'll just get him taken care of. Let's see who else I can tell you about. Xavier Worthy. So Xavier's it ended up not being a concussion. We had both the NFL involved with the clearing and our docs, and he's got a little liquid. He had a little liquid in his ear, and they took care of that, and it was throwing his equilibrium off just a bit. So that's a positive thing. But other than that, the guys have worked hard, done a nice job. Today they caught a break with the weather, nice and cool for them, and they're flying around. And it was good to see both sides of the ball making plays, great competition going on. When you do that, you're going to start improving, man. That's the objective in this thing, get better, a little bit better every day. So that time's yours.
You sense a better energy when the temperatures are like this?
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys are, you're more lively. There is. I mean, yeah, you know how it goes. I mean, when it's hot, you're pushing through it. That's a tough thing, but being out there 2.5 hours or so, and the sun and heat, and it can be a little rough. Practice is rough anyways. Now that you add the heat into it, and it's even tougher. Yeah.
Andy, I know you love describing yourself as a teacher. Just what are you trying to teach Kingsley day after day? Just knowing that he's going up against Chris, obviously one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Yeah, that's gonna make you great, right? So every day you can get better, and he's doing that. He's battling. They talk. He and Chris talk. Chris got a ton of respect for him. He knows how good he is, and so they work it. And then they were going back and forth today. He had some good ones. Chris had some good. Well, they're getting better. That makes each other better. Competition.
Coach, you got guys rotating on the offensive line. What does that do for you when you can see guys playing different positions?
Yeah, it gives you flexibility. So if somebody gets hurt, you plug a guy in. You only can adjust so many on game day. So you want to make sure you got some guys that can kind of move around a little bit. Whether it's a guard playing center, center playing guard, tackle playing guard. If you're lucky enough, you might get one that plays all three. So all three spots.
Going back to Kingsley, when he has the rookie year he did, and he has to pull off the field, I just wonder how much of it's just trying to rebuild his confidence, or do you feel like he was already there?
Yeah, he's been on a mission since he got back. I mean, he's been pretty focused in on that. I think he likes that spot, and he's sure taken to it well. And he's willing to work. That's never been his issue, man. He comes out and he works his tail off. So we've been happy with what we see. We've got to keep going, but powerful kid.
What have you learned so far about Josh Simmons now that we've gotten to this portion of the offseason?
Yeah, first of all, he's getting a lot of reps, which I think is important for a rookie. So he's been in there and consistently showing up every day and working, and not taking plays off or any of that. But he's a worker. I mean, he's willing to do it. It's just a matter of you got to keep on going. But he's done a nice job with what we've asked him. He's working on all the fundamentals and techniques. So that's a challenge for him.
Andy, when it comes to Nikko Remigio, we're about to catch up with, just that battle there with the long receivers trying to make the roster. What do you see as the competitive nature out of those guys, and how impressive you've been with some of those guys at the bottom of the roster?
Yeah, Remigio, he's very competitive. Yeah, so and they're all competing like crazy for 6 or 7 spots is what you're looking at. So they're in there battling their tail off to make one of those positions, and Remigio's doing that. I know you know him, and you know how competitive a kid he is. Everything he does, he's competitive. So now he has that punt return thing that goes into his favor, but we've got some other guys that are fighting for that too, that spot.
When you get down to those final decisions, how much of it ends up being, hey, this player's going to make the team because they play this position, and then they can do special teams? How much of there is also, wait a minute, this kid is a good special teams player, he needs to make the team somehow?
Yeah, so I tell the guys that, that some of the guys are going to make it because of special teams. Every year you get 1 or 2 guys that are on your team because of special teams, and maybe they lack a little bit compared to somebody else in the position, but they just excel on special teams. So Tobe can have a core group, develop a core group in there. 4 phases is what he'll say. So you want to find those guys and try to keep them if you can.
Coach, speaking of special teams, have you got a handle personally on the new kickoff rules, and how do you think it's going to affect things?
Yeah, I was checking that out yesterday in that game, and it's going to be interesting. There's some things. If your kicker can place the ball on kickoffs, man, you're asking a lot of those fielders there, and it's going to be interesting. We'll see how it all works. But curious to see. We're fortunate to have Bucker. I think when it comes to this type of thing.
And I'm sure you were relieved with the Xavier thing that it was only this. Can you just take us through the last couple of days trying to figure out exactly what was going on?
Yeah, no, listen, he wanted to get back in. He kept saying, I don't feel like I have a concussion. Yeah. But you got to go through the protocol of it. And so, then they got him up there and examined him, and, it was what I said, so with the liquid in the ear. But I know that can throw you off balance, and that's where he was at. But he was convinced he didn't have one all along. But that's all right. I mean, we were cautious with it, and we're always going to do that.
Obviously, good news for you guys with receivers since you were down a few to get him back immediately.
Yeah, you want numbers at that spot. You need legs, and we play a lot of those guys 3 at a time normally. So you need all the legs to get through practice.
And what kind of role are you seeing from Rasheed Rice in this camp, in and off the field?
Yeah, well, he's doing a nice job. He's done a nice job off the field. He's doing a nice job on the field. He's sometimes you learn from your mistakes. That's the important part. So all of that, and then on the field, he's just been full speed ahead. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
No pun intended.
So Andy was just talking about how competitive you are. Describe just about your competitive nature, especially going now and trying to battle against Fox.
Yeah, I mean, that's just who I am. Kind of just my makeup, how I've been developed, how I've been raised. It has always revolved around competition, and the only way to get to this point is to be a competitive guy and to know how to compete and how to bounce back, and yeah, I mean, that's just who I am.
You're still the best returner that they have at this time. I guess when you hear something like that, how does it make you feel?
This is my first time hearing that, so I take it with a grain of salt. I think the thing that I've learned with this business is that if you get too comfortable, you're going to get got. And I worked too damn hard to get to this point in my career, to get to year 3, to let it slip through my fingers. So, really I approach every day like I'm an undrafted rookie that barely got a shot to make it to the NFL, and I'm scratching and clawing to just get an opportunity.
Is that what's going through your mind, Nico, on a day like, if I could, Tuesday, where Hollywood has an injury, Xavier has an injury for a little bit, you get thrown in with more reps, it's obviously 100 degrees outside. Is that what you have in reserve to dig deep in moments?
Definitely. I think, Coach Reid talks a lot about during training camp you're going to have to get to a dark place. And that dark place resembles the space in your head that you're going to have to get to in the AFC Championship, in the playoffs, when you're down in the Super Bowl. And, there's a lot that goes into that. And like you said, knowing my story, the journey that it took for me to get here, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And it's always going to be a driver and a motivator for me.
Nico, that day it looked like several times you're coming off the field really struggling. Oh, yeah. Is that sort of what's pushing through the back of your mind? Like, I got to keep going, even if I don't know if you're cranking or what. But.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, there's not a lot going on in my head at that point in time. I'm just, you're kind of just flailing around all over the place. You're drenched in sweat. It's hot. Your skin is stinging because it's hot. And, I think those days, Coach Reid is intentionally trying to see and evaluate if you can still do your job in the most chaotic, frantic of times with the most extreme circumstances. And so that's what I know that's going on in the back of my mind is, can I still score a touchdown? Can I still catch the ball? Can I still square up a punt in the most extreme conditions? Because when we get to the playoffs, when we get to the championship, you know, that pressure is a whole nother level.
How hard was it to keep going a couple of those times when you were just barely getting off the field?
You know, I talked to my family about it and my wife about it, but I feel like my threshold for stress and like extreme circumstances has been pushed so much further. And, you know, I kind of compare it to last year where training camp was the epitome of that for me. That was the furthest I had gone up until this point in my career. And, you know, obviously got cut, put on practice squad. And after that point, you know, I played in the playoffs. I played in the championship. I played in the Super Bowl. So just your ability to tolerate stress. And I think it kind of just, you know, highlights just growth and maturity for myself, not only as a player, but just as a man, like my ability to just push through hard things.
Have you approached this offseason and this camp different after having that experience last year of actually getting on the field with the team in NFL games?
I wouldn't say I approach camp any differently. I'd say that there's a little bit more comfortability, just having more familiarity with the offense. You know, I think the last time I spoke to you guys, it was figuring out what Pat wants and how that the difference that is from how they install the offense. And now I feel like I'm kind of at the point where, okay, what are my strengths in this offense? How can I find space? How can I manipulate the defense? How can I manipulate the defender within the scheme of the offense and stay on Pat's timing? And I'd say that would be the biggest difference for me in this camp.
Were you able to pinpoint that? Were you able to pinpoint all that when you were down in Dallas working out with Pat?
I mean, routes on air is a different feeling. It's really hard to emulate that, and the only way to really get that feel is to be in a competitive, live situation where, you know, you've got everybody out there on the field. You've got the defense moving around, the safety's flowing in the back, you know, all the movement. You need that movement to be able to feel it.
Like you said, you're year 3. It's a very young receiver group, and then you got guys like Mac. I know you were at Fresno State for a year. What's it like, you know, having Mac there and working with the young guys?
Man, it's so awesome. So, Mac actually, when I was at Cal, I think I was like my sophomore, junior year. Mac had attended a kids camp, and I was coaching Mac as like one of the college receivers helping out at the kids camp, and then I ended up transferring to Fresno State and was playing with him over there at Fresno State. And when I saw that he got signed here, man, it was like just such a cool full circle moment. And, man, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. And I'm just so happy to see him making plays at this level. And, you know, it's not too big of a moment for him. And as somebody who's kind of watched his growth and, you know, from when he was a kid to playing with him as a teammate and now up here in the NFL, it's really such a cool opportunity.
Does it make you feel like a good teacher or just old?
I'm not old, man. I'm not old.
Josh, how would you assess your first 2 straight camps so far?
We're in the middle of it. I'm still working, still stacking bricks, so just give me a little longer for that, if I can get you like a estimate.
You got to fight through your first kind of long drives and that heat the other day. What was kind of your mindset? Is there a survival mode that just kind of kicks in at some point?
Yeah, definitely. But you also get, like, it's health. It's the funnest thing you can do, like, competing against, like, George Karlaftis, Mike Dana. So, like, that competitive stamina, it just kind of wipes all that kind of tiredness away. So, yeah.
Josh, I'm sure there's a lot you want to improve on all the time, in particular out here at camp. But what's drawing the bulk of your time and attention?
Say that again?
I'm sure there's a lot throughout your technique, everything that you want to improve. What draws the bulk of your attention and time right now?
Right now is really understanding defenses. That way I can play a lot faster. Like if I can see a front and anticipate that they may do a stunt or a blitz or a DN might drop, then I can easily kind of help Kingsley and communicate stuff like that. So.
What stands out about the stuff that's facts is the film that you saw?
You'll never expect it, is what I can say. You'll never expect like what he'll do out of the front. So keeps me technically always on point. So.
Josh, what has it been for you to have Andy Heck and Juan Castillo to really work on, you know, I don't know if it's fundamentals or you know certain moves you want to do, but what have you sort of learned from those 2 guys right now?
Yeah, they put like a plethora of just different pass sets, different like hand movements into my toolbox. So it's like the best resource any rookie can have. Just having that in your back pocket, asking after like a pass rush, what did I do wrong here? How can I fix it? And then going to the next rep and then making those corrections. It's amazing.
Has there been a point so far in camp where you felt like your knee could be a problem, or are you feel 100%?
As we speak, I haven't felt any like issues with it yet. Neil Elatrosh is platinum standard, so I mean I tip my hat off to that dude right there.
How nice is it to be back?
Really nice. Just playing football, like time just slow. It's therapy. So I'm glad to be back.
Josh, is the rehab still ongoing in some capacity, or have you moved completely past like that particular?
More just maintenance. You want to make sure your body's recovering from these types of days. So I'm just more proactive with it than maybe most.
What was the most gratifying part about when you realized you were going to be able to fully participate? Was there a certain day, a certain moment that you knew you'd be ready for this sort of challenge in your rookie season?
It was more about how I felt. I knew I was putting in a lot of work at Ohio State with Stu, and then coming here and having Julie and Rick and all those. I knew if I just showed up and put the work in, it was going to line up perfectly.
Was it legitimately every day?
Every single day, sometimes 2 a day.
What made you want to stay? I assume that's it. But what made you want to stay in the area as opposed to rehabbing somewhere else? I'm talking about during the month break before training.
They know my body. I didn't want to go somewhere else, and then they have to kind of figure out my body, figure out, how does this work? Is he quick and stuff like that? They know everything. Ohio State passed it down to them, so I put my trust in them. So.
Last one in the back.
Josh, how have Trey Smith, even Jalen Moore kind of helped you adjust to the pace of the NFL? I know you played at Ohio State, but how have they kind of helped you adjust to the NFL and how fast it moves?
They've seen it all. They've made the rookie mistakes, so they're trying to help me so I don't make them, or I'm at least ready for those welcome to the NFL moments. But it's just about the work you put in, asking them questions, even if it's something that I already know, just to confirm, like, hey, on this I should set like this or something like that. And yes, that's what you want to do. Just getting that kind of imprinted in my brain. That way I can play as fast as I can when I get out there.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.